What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some very quick Destiny 2 updates, and of course it's Thursday, so this week at Bungie has arrived. And safe to say, we don't have any massive bits of news or anything to talk about in this one. But they do jump in and clarify how some stuff works inside of Solstice this year. There's actually a buff that allows extra progress once you've unlocked armor sets on a different character. But also there are a couple of bugs, some issues with glows and things like that to cover. But otherwise we've got known issues to talk about, a Bungie fashion show, and a couple of small updates. So without further delay guys, let's get into the video. First up, we should drop an important update on the Solstice armor progress for multiple characters. So yesterday we spoke about the fact that players were seeing increased progress on secondary sets on alternate characters. And at first there was a bit of confusion, but DMG said, obtaining the final legendary armor set, Magnificent, on a class will add a +1 times modifier to the other classes that are finishing the rare and legendary tier 1 majestic armor objectives. And it clarifies that means 2 times once one class has obtained the final armor set, and 3 times once 2 classes have obtained the final armor set. And so that is a pretty huge positive if you're unlocking the armor for multiple characters. However, Bungie Help did tweet, "We're aware of an issue where Solstice armor progression isn't being multiplied for alternate characters after Magnificent Titan armor is acquired. So until more details become available, we recommend completing Magnificent Hunter and Warlock armor sets first." Definitely something to bear in mind right there, and pretty unfortunate if you've already been affected by it. But essentially that boost isn't always working properly. And so hopefully they'll get that one sorted soon, but also they've said that they're aware of reports regarding certain class glow ornaments not matching their advertised vibrancy and are investigating. And they've said they're going to update as soon as they have more information. But there was a Reddit post about this earlier. Essentially players pointed out that the glow was nowhere near as bright in-game as it appears in the kind of Eververse preview for the glow. Certainly something that began to cause a little bit of controversy, so Bungie have jumped in pretty quickly. And apparently that is not intentional, and it's another thing we're going to have to wait for updates about. But of course it certainly doesn't help that kind of rocky reception that events like this sometimes get. I know there are some mixed opinions, so as always give us your thoughts down below. In the TWAB they point out that tomorrow Trials Vasiris will return at 10 AM Pacific time. And of course there is the objective to get 7 wins for one of the Magnificent sets. Maybe something you're ready for if you've been grinding pretty hard. But Bungie do say, to answer the question that some players have been asking about why Magnificent armor isn't fully masterworked when earned. They said that this year, the approach was to give players a new path to earn high stat rolled armor pieces outside of raids, as these armor sets have a max power cap of 1,360, and they'll also have a lifespan that lasts through multiple seasons. And so the end result is that players can spend their time finding the perfect roll through Solstice packages for the duration of the event. But then, even after the event has concluded, players can masterwork their armor pieces at their leisure and finish up some of the final majestic objectives to unlock the glow. And so that is a bit of an insight from Bungie as to why they're not dropping kind of masterworks in the game. And it's safe to say it would definitely be a very lucrative unlock if it was masterworked as well. So give us any of your thoughts about that, and we have a couple of extra Solstice things to touch on briefly in a moment. But otherwise in this week at Bungie, something relevant to mention would be known issues, and they say they're aware of an issue where Gambit Prime will not count for Solstice armor with Gambit objectives. And so you do have to run the traditional version of the mode. But also, Nightfall the Ordeal isn't counting for Solstice armor with strike objectives. And then they're investigating reports of doubled progression on Solstice objectives not working for some players. And that links to the issue with the Titan sets being unlocked initially. And they point out that the Solstice Warlock bond does incorrectly state that you need to get 150 Guardian super kills, but the objective progresses correctly with arc super kills against any enemy. That one definitely makes sense because that objective on its own appeared to be a pretty lopsided. And then there are also issues where shaders aren't applying properly to certain sets of armor. Also on the subject of Solstice, Bungie are going to be running a new fashion show right here. So they say that every so often they challenge players to strut their stuff in the wilds of Destiny 2, mixing shaders, armor pieces, exotics, and ornaments to find the perfect set, and bonus points to those who find the perfect destination for their photo shoot. You gotta snap the best pictures you can with your Solstice gear glowing and send some screenshots to Bungie on Twitter with hashtag Solstice Fashion Show, and you have a chance to win the fashion show emblem. So that's something to bear in mind if you're a bit of an emblem collector and you fancy your chances. Of course, you can check out further details in Bungie's blog. But the final main thing that they point out in the TWAB would be the success of some of Bungie Foundation's charitable efforts recently. So, with a quick update, they point out that we raised $602,000 in donations as part of the recent Bungie Day, with an additional $500,000 being raised from the Empathetic Ghost Show. And so the Bungie Foundation were able to donate $1.1 million to helping kids out in children's hospitals across the country, which of course is pretty awesome. And there are some extra insights in the blog about that as well. Once again, that will be linked down in the description box below. A final couple of things, players did ask why we don't have either a Sparrow or ship reward for unlocking all 3 sets of armor. And Cosmo said that they saw a lot of feedback last year that the Sparrow offered for upgrading the armor sets didn't feel worth the effort, and so they elected not to include it this year and added the earnable glows instead. Of course, there's also the fact that they mentioned they're not going to be going back to the ornaments from last year and kind of updating them as universal ornaments. So as always with this being a live event, and one that involves Eververse a good bit, there are some mixed opinions about precisely how Bungie are doing a few things. And as always, give us your thoughts down in the comment section. If you're in need of a good guide for the European aerial zone, and specifically the chest spawns, as well as some useful loadouts for unlocking upgrades and things like that, Redhead Hippo did make a pretty awesome map with all the locations for the chests on the aerial zone this year, so just something I wanted to draw attention to. It's a pretty good one, and if you want to check it out, it will be linked down below. Once again, Bungie posted another Life at Bungie, kind of Bungie careers video that was just yesterday, and so if that is something that you're curious about, it's something neat to check out. And also, of course, as we've discussed recently, Bungie is still hiring developers and various staff to actually work on a new IP in the studio, and this is something that they're kind of starting to get rolling, and hopefully they're going to have another franchise by around about 2025, or at least that was Bungie's goal when they last spoke about it. So it certainly appears that Bungie are expanding a little bit. Either way, for today guys, that is everything we have to talk about in this video. So as always, give us your thoughts in the comment section down below, and if you have enjoyed it, a rating is very much appreciated. But also feel free to get subscribed so that I can keep you posted with the world of Destiny 2, and otherwise, whatever you guys get up to. For now, I hope you have an awesome day.